Oh, there. So this is regarding the Karen Read trial. I'm going to show some inconsistencies to prove how the state witnesses testified against each other. Since it was such a long trial, you have to go back and you have to look at specific timestamps. This is Lowley in his opening statement, day 1 of the Karen Read trial. At timestamp 108, second 12, in the NBC 10 Boston channel, he states at 12:45 in the morning, when the vehicle was in front of the residence in Fairview for some perceptible period of time, the vehicle travels over 60 feet, going in reverse, approximately 24.2 miles per hour. He states that she was there at 12:45, and that is in fact what Jen and the rest of them testified. So let's go to Trooper Paul, Trooper Guarini, and there's an Officer Seraph, and Carrie, her testimony. That's what I'm going to be covering in this video. So the next testimony is going to be Trooper Paul. Accident reconstructionist, even though he only has an associate's degree with no education in biomechanics and all the other things that the actual experts that was hired by the FBI has. He states that the collision occurred on Saturday, January 29th, 2022 at approximately 12:45 a.m. And that is, of course, consistent with the lies by Jen McCabe and them. But now I'm going to show you what the other trooper concluded based on the alibi evidence of Karen Read, the auto connect time to John O'Keefe's Wi-Fi, that they did not count on that alibi. So this is the transcript provided by YouTube. I'll put the link in the description. You can go to this timestamp and hear him say it. I'm not playing the video. I'm just showing you the transcript. But if you've watched the trial, you will recall that he said the collision happened at the time that Lowley said in his opening argument. He said the collision occurred. Now keep in mind, this one, he also is the person who looked at the EDR, and he's claiming based on EDR of the car, which is basically the data from the car, which just shows you how they testify falsely. Collision occurred on Saturday, January 29th, 2022 at approximately 12:45. Okay, let's go to Trooper Guarini. This trooper Nicholas Guarini, his job was to look at various evidence of the phones, different types of things. He looked at the auto connect time to John O'Keefe's Wi-Fi. So he stated now that when he was on Crass with Yannetti, he says no one at 34 Fairview, including Jen McCabe, could have witnessed Karen Read outside that residence at 12:45 a.m. Correct. No, I don't believe so. So, you will agree with me that no one could have, including Jennifer McCabe, could have seen her at 12:45 at 34 Fairview. As I said, this is him saying, as I said, she auto-connects to the Wi-Fi at 12:36. She left at the time that it shows that he was walking at 12:22. He started walking at 12:24. He was still walking, which he walked going almost 300 feet, going up and down stairs. And then 7 minutes later, which they didn't attack, that they were trying to say, you know, that there was no movement after 12:25. But this trooper contradicted that and said that in fact he was walking at 12:32, which is consistent with her leaving. So it's not possible for him to be walking at 12:32 and arrive and auto-connect at 12:35, which she could have auto-connected in the driveway, but if she didn't auto-connect on the driveway and didn't auto-connect until she got in the house, so give another minute, she would have arrived at 12:35. So If he's walking, as the data says, at 12:32, which this Guarino could not deny that he was in fact walking at 12:32, it is not possible for her to be auto-connecting at 12:36, because in light traffic in good conditions it takes 6 minutes to get from that house, and I showed that in another video. In bad conditions such as snow, give it a good 8 to 10 minutes. It's not possible for him to be walking at 12:32 and her be auto-connecting at 12:36. And it most certainly, him saying that the wreck happened at 12:45, as they went into great detail, the McCabe's and the Alberts all testified that she was out there for some time and they were wondering what she was doing, and very clearly they pinpointed 12:45, and the accident constructionist said it happened at 12:45. But then he said, Trpr Guarino, who was looking at different evidence, was like, oops, I'm sorry, they didn't know about her auto connecting up to Wi-Fi at 12:36. Oops. And you have to those who were trying to say that she was claiming things on the scene, saying she hit him. You have this problematic false police report that even a police officer, Stephen Seraph, testified that it was absolutely false. It's false, isn't it? Yes. Because they were trying to put these other officers there several minutes before they were there, so they can all lie and say that she's saying things that she's not. And this officer testified truthfully that this report is false. Then you have Carrie Roberts, who's definitely in on the cover-up conspiracy, claiming that John O'Keefe had 4 inches of snow on top of him. She had to dig his head out of the snow. But let's listen to what Officer Seraph says. This is day one. This is Lowley asking him about how much snow was on the ground. There was about 6 inches of snow on the ground. How much was on top of O'Keefe? Oh, just a light dusting was on top of him. A light dusting was on top, which is absolutely consistent with the fact that Lucky, who, by the way, the FBI verified his GPS, that he did go by that house at the time that he said that he did, the snowplow driver, and there was no body in the yard at 2:30 a.m., 2:45. There was no body there. So he missed that heavy snow. So it's not possible for him to have 4 inches of snow on top of him. But Carrie testified there was 4 inches on top of him, because she's trying to make it look like he was there since 12-something, that he never made it into the house. But the 12:32 Health Fit app movement, where he was walking, that Guarini, whatever his name is, claims that in fact he did walk. They tried to act like the 12:21 to 12:24, like there was some confusion about that, but they could not counter the 12:31 to 12:32 movement, the 20 seconds, the last 36 steps that was recorded. Shows clearly that's consistent with the 12:22. He's the same officer who said that he believes that the walking started at 12:22 second 10, which would, for 2 minutes, he was walking 287 steps going up and down stairs. And then several minutes later, his walking. Regardless of who chooses to believe what about the HealthFit app, the 12:32, the last 36 steps, which wasn't countered, they only attacked the earlier claimed steps. They couldn't counter that in specifics. So the fact that he was walking at 12:32, and they said the accident happened at 12:45, but then the other trooper said that she auto-connected to John's Wi-Fi at 12:36, and it's not possible to go from that house in 4 minutes' time. It's just not possible. It shows clearly there wasn't 4 inches of snow on top of him, per Carrie. There was a light dusting on top of him. A light dusting. And that's consistent with he was dumped out there well after 2:30 a.m. Because otherwise he would be completely covered by all of the snow that fell. But there was only a light dusting on top of him. A light dusting on top of him. Per the own state's witness.
At 34 Fairview, including Jennifer McCabe, could have witnessed Karen Reed outside that residence at 12:45 a.m., correct?
No, I don't believe so.
So you agree with me? No one could have, including Jennifer McCabe, could have seen her at 12:45 at 34 Fairview?
As I said, she auto connects to the Wi-Fi at 12:36. So no.
These are just a few of the inconsistencies and the contradicting each other. There are so many contradictions that I have seen and noted throughout this entire trial. But the most important ones is how they, with their expertise, pinpointed to when the collision happened based on car EDR, which is just bunk. They didn't count on that there was going to be evidence revealed of her auto-connect time. They lied.